Good morning, good morning. Welcome to Pink Salt Shed TV. I'm Kate Salter, and it's Monday, the 22nd of February today. I can't believe it. Nearly the end of the month, and then, well, spring will be beckoning, knocking on our door in March. Can't wait. Let's look forward to it. Oh, but let's look forward to today's show. Just as a little recap of what it is that we're going to be talking about today. We're talking about Simon Smith Hair Salon. Well, we're talking to Carla and Craig from Simon Smith Hair Salon. Here they are. What a fabulous pair. So we'll be joining them in just a second, or they'll be joining us in just a second, but I can't wait. In fact, what's quite interesting is going to the hair salon in my house, or for me, is a rare treat. I don't go that often because I just don't get around to doing it. And when I do, I phone them up that day. Have you got any appointments? And it's like, no. And that's because, of course, they're always fully booked. But I tend to get in within a couple of days later, and it's a proper event. I put it in my phone diary. I put it in the diary in the kitchen. It's in my planner. I'm just poised to go. In fact, I would write it on my arm in Sharpie if I could do, if I didn't look stupid. But on the day, you know, imagine if it's a 9:30 appointment, I'll probably get there at about 9:10, something like that, so I can have the experience of, would you like a drink? It's like, someone's asking me if I want a drink. It's like, yes, please. And then you go through the pictures of your hair. It's like, well, I'd like to look that. Can you make me look like that, please? And it's like, well, probably not in a million years, but we'll see what we can do. And then you get the hair washed and the, would you like a head massage? It's like, throw everything at me. Throw it all at me, because I've got an hour with you, max, and I just need to be transformed. In fact, I even, spruce myself up a little bit with, do my nails, do my makeup, wear something a bit, better than elasticated trousers. So when I walk out the door with my new do, I'm not looking half bad. But hey, at the moment, we're just all looking, well, we're all looking how we're looking, aren't we? We can all try our best to look great when we walk out the front door. But for some, it's easier than others. If you've got long hair, you can tie it back. Great, fantastic, lovely. If you haven't, then what is going on? Do you wear an Alice band to put that fringe back? Do you wear slides left, right and centre? What are you doing? Or do we just keep the hats on because it's winter? It's actually quite handy at this time of year that at least the salon isn't open, I suppose. Right, so let's talk to Carla and Craig. Let's bring them in. La 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 la. Hello.
Hey.
I always get surprised that bing, there they are. It's like, oh, production department me has worked. How are you doing? You all right?
Very good, thank you.
Fabulous.
Really good.
Thank you. Thanks so much for coming on the show. Loads of people want to put you in their pocket. So when they're about to do something stupid, you could smack them around and say no, or you can just give them a little handy hint and tip in their ear as to what the right thing is that they can do. So I kind of want to just hand over to you and just listen and make notes as we go along. We have got some questions here though, which is fabulous. So Carla, let's start off with you. If you were to see somebody in the street, what do you think it would be? What would the handy hint and tip they want to hear from you be?
Well, I have seen many people in the street with really big roots. And as a hairdresser, we can't help but to look at them and like, no. So yeah, I thought I'd give a few pointers on tinting your hair at home, because inevitably everyone's going to be doing it. It's not something I normally recommend, but in this situation, you've got to do what you've got to do. I can't recommend any hair brands of like home color because I don't use any, but I do have some like handy tips to try and limit any disasters. So go straight into that for you. So top tip with home colouring, do a patch test first. The ingredients in home colours are different to professional and they vary a lot. So you don't really want to be having an allergic reaction or even a mild reaction and ending up in A&E at this time. So it should be in the box. It will have the instructions. Do your little patch test before the colour. Make sure there's no allergies, nothing comes up on the skin. Then go ahead, read the instructions really thoroughly while you're waiting for that patch test to take.
How would you do the patch test?
I would go behind the ear because you're applying the colour to the scalp, so you might as well pull it close to where it's going to be applied. It's just normally a tiny little dab behind the ear.
Okay.
I thought a reaction to a hair dye, once you've applied it to your whole scalp, can be really severe, life-threatening. So definitely do it. Yeah, it can be. And the darker the colours are, the more likely that is to happen because of the pigments. So
I'm always so impatient. I've never done a patch test. Is that just like slap my wrist?
Things with yours, Kate, which I know about you. You're using the same blonde every time.
Yeah, I know.
So you're using that colour regularly, so that in theory is patch testing each time. Blonder colours, not saying that you're getting off scot-free, are less likely to cause a reaction than a darker colour.
Okay.
Darker ones have the pigments in that are more
Oh,
likely to cause that. So you've done your patch test, you've read the instructions thoroughly. What do you do next? Well, you want to apply it as neatly as possible. If you've got someone at home with you, then get them to help you, because no one can apply colour to the back of their head neatly without getting it on everywhere. So definitely section your hair up, recruit someone to help you, even if it's one of your children. Put the gloves on, section it up, pop it on the roots. Before you do that, bit of Vaseline around the hairline, maybe over your ears to stop any staining, because it can get pretty messy. And then something that I've learned from colouring my hair myself at home is it just seems to get on everything, like even in rooms you've not been in. So I would highly recommend, if you're applying your colour in your bathroom, stay in that room until you've finished and you've washed it off. Don't be walking around the house touching everything, because I guarantee you'll wash it off, it'll all look lovely, and then you go downstairs and then there'll be a handprint on your door or toilet lid or something like that you don't even remember touching. That has happened to me many a times. If you do that, you can normally get stuff off with bleach or off some surfaces, but not painted. You have to repaint basically.
So this is if you're doing a darker colour on your hair. What about people that have already got something that really is a different colour? Should they be trying to do anything adventurous, or what about just stick to as natural as possible? I mean, you mentioned bleach there to get something off the carpet, but a lot of people are probably putting that on their head as well.
Okay, so the one thing that I would not do at home is bleach your hair. It's when you come to salon, if you have a scalp bleach or highlights, it takes someone hours to apply that colour that's been doing it for years. There's no way you can apply that colour at home without overlapping and damaging your hair, get the correct amount of lift and even application and get the same result. It's most likely going to end in a disaster, and you're stuck with it until Boris tells us later when you're not. And you're more likely to damage your hair using bleach at home. And if you damage it, no hairdresser can fix that. That's once it's done, it's done.
It's irreversible.
So, do not bleach your hair at home. If you've got highlights and you put bleach on the roots, it won't look the same anyway. Putting a blonde root colour on the roots at home when you've got highlighted hair, it won't match up as well. That will be blocky on the roots and then highlights on the end. It look horrific, basically.
You can sometimes tell people that actually
in there.
Yes,
for a bit longer. Yeah.
You can sometimes tell those that have had the home highlighting kits, and you can see that there's like a good centimetre here and there and here and there, and it's like, because you can't get it through properly. Yeah.
No. It's hard for a hairdresser to do it sometimes, so there's no way to do it on yourself.
Yes. God, those pesky roots. Craig, what about you? I mean, if you'd see somebody in the street, what would they be saying? You know, would they be embracing the drag through a hedge backwards look, or how do you stop them? How can you coach them to style nicely?
I think certainly for me, I've seen a lot of people out and about with their hair up a lot more.
Yeah.
Obviously, people are hiding their greys and that sort of thing, and just embracing it. So yeah, just wearing your hair up. There's some really cool sort of like headscarves, loads of stuff like that really that people use to incorporate into ponytails, plaits, braids, that sort of thing. If you've got Kirby grits lying around, just play around with your hair, just pin it up, see what happens.
I mean, the messy look is all right, isn't it? People can look a bit dishevelled. It can look quite cool.
I think so, definitely. We as a salon, we love textured hair, and a lot of people come into the salon to have updos and that sort of thing, and wedding hair, and our sort of thing usually is braids and plaits, and that boho sort of thing is quite cool. So just embrace it, go with it. There's loads of YouTube tutorials out there as well. You can always follow people on Instagram, check out what other people are doing. to give you a helping hand. Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. So, Carla, actually, we've got a picture of some of the products that you use. Here we go, look. How would you go about applying these or snazzing your hair up a little bit? I mean, I suppose whilst we're all at home, people might be experimenting. What would be the best thing to experiment with?
Well, these kind of products are absolutely ideal for a bit of an experiment. They are really conditioning for the hair. They're temporary, and they are literally foolproof. You cannot damage your hair with these products. So most of the colours will work better on blonde hair. So there is something blondes can do with their hair. So for example, if you've got blonde hair, you're a bit rooty, you just want to do something fun, the pink is really lovely. You wash your hair as normal, then you apply the pink quite thickly and evenly throughout. It is conditioner. Comb it through with a wide tooth comb. Leave it on for 30 minutes minimum. You can leave it on longer if you're just pottering around the house. And then you just rinse it off, and it will leave you the most beautiful baby pink hair. I mean, you can do the lavender or the coral, whatever. And I think when you've got some dark roots and blonde ends, a bit of pink, it looks quite good with roots, you know?
Yes.
Looks
So
a bit
you
rock
can
and
actually
roll,
see,
looks a bit more edgy.
so I think the next time you see me, I'm going to have done the pink, because I love the idea of having a bit of pink hair. And I think, well, who knows what I'd turn out like? A bit candy floss, but I think I might just try whilst I'm at home.
Yeah, and Davines, this range, I mean, there are so many different ranges you can buy, but we love the Davines because they're a real sustainable range. They do loads of colours as well. So we've obviously got coral, pink and lavender on here. But they do brunette to keep your brunettes really nice and shiny and get that salon feel back. They do copper, they do red. There's one for every single colour. So that is tones for darker hair as well. It's just things like the light pink won't show up on dark brown hair.
Got you. So if we were to would we go to their website and buy something like that then? Have they got a, okay.
Absolutely. Just literally Google Davines. You can go onto their website. There's loads of stores. Unfortunately, as a salon, we are not doing an online store just because we all live too far away to package and deliver.
Yeah.
They've also
it's just
got
worth it. But there's so many outlets you can get it from, and it's a product I really recommend because I know that no one can damage their hair with it at home.
Well, that's exactly what we need at the moment. And because you've used it before as well, you just know how it works. So a recommendation is always, is the best route for us to take at the moment. Craig, I think you were going to say something there.
Yeah, they've got at the minute, through Davines, it's 1% for the planet it's called at the minute. So every sort of product that you buy on their website, they donate 1% of the profits through the website to environmental charities as well. So you're investing in a sort of nice, sustainable brand as well. You're doing your bit for the environment too.
I love that idea. In fact, one thing that I've liked recently is that, well, there used to be, I think I used to drive past an organic hair salon that was in a village near here. And I used to think, well, how can it work? How can organic work? But how does it work? Because normally you think hair products have got like chemicals in them and things like that. But do these ones not have chemicals there?
There's good and bad chemicals that go into every, different hair products. What Davines use is they're not actually organic, but they use organic ingredients within the product, which means they're organically sourced. So to be organic nowadays, absolutely every single thing that goes into the products has to be organic. But they're as good as it gets, I would say.
Okay, that's really good. That's good. So, what other products do you use? Carla, do you have any other colouring products that you use?
Yeah, there's another brand that we use mainly in the salon, and they do these masks as well, but we don't stock them. And it's Wella, and that's the colour brand that we use. They're amazing, and they do the colour masks as well. I've not used theirs as much, but I know they're really good. But I just normally steer to the Davines because of the sustainability of the brand.
Right, okay, so there's ethics to consider as well. But Wella, we've all heard of Wella though. Wella is a brand that I think you can, it is, isn't it? Yes. So would you say, is there a different kind of Weller for professionals and a different Weller that we would see in, any high street pharmacy?
Don't think Weller do any home hair colours or
Okay.
any home products. They keep their brand truly professional. But other brands do that, as in you get L'Oreal in a salon and you buy L'Oreal home hair colour, and they are completely different. The
Right.
ingredients are completely different, and obviously the professional colours have more superior ingredients. That's why they're more expensive, and they're
Okay.
designed for a professional to use that's been trained. Whereas the home colours, they've got to be made simple and as
Yes. Yeah.
disaster proof as possible. So they
Yes,
have
I can
to
imagine.
have different ingredients in and not sometimes as strong for getting things. Yeah, it's like all brands really. They might have two ranges, a professional and
Yes.
the sort of boots kind of
Got
level.
you. So if you want the proper job, always have it done at the hair salon, which is like,
Yeah,
I mean, it's a bit obvious, isn't it? But I sometimes use just a L'Oreal product because I'm blonde
yeah,
and I can't really go wrong. But if there's any if there's any kind of doubt that you might not quite get it right, leave it to the salon. But I love the idea of the Davines products. What other products do they do? So, I mean, if we're thinking about, okay, that's the colour, but what about boofing it up a bit, or we've got a bit of dandruff, or we kind of like not, we're looking a bit dull. What else can we use?
Um,
I would like to answer that one.
Yeah,
so
go on, Craig.
if you want I absolutely love the Davines range because they do. So let me show you this. This is the Davines mousse. It's the volumizing mousse,
Yeah.
and it's really good to sort of just mousses usually they're a little bit sticky, they feel a bit lank in the hair, they don't feel great. This is fab if you're one of these girls or ladies who likes to sort of boof it up a little bit, so you can rough dry it into the hair, use a curling one, put a few curls and waves in it, and it helps the style last longer as well.
Got you.
So that's a really good one. So, and then for sort of second day, this is the hair refresher, which is their dry shampoo. That's really, really good just to sort of, for a second day, sort of cleanse almost.
Okay.
It just gives it a little bit of volume, hide any greasy hair. Yeah, that's a really good one too.
Got you. So actually, Craig, let's give you a little picture here to look at. So I'm thinking that product, the mousse, might be quite good for this hair. How would we get this hair?
So
Well,
this, funnily enough, this is actually a haircut that when Connie was training, this is a haircut that we did during her training on the lovely Grace, our receptionist in the salon. And I think we used it was the curling mousse to achieve this look. Grace has got really natural curly hair. So for any girls who've got natural curly hair, especially this time of year, your best friend is moisture. So curl
okay.
creams, curl cleansers, that sort of thing to keep the hair in optimum condition. And then the top tip really to get this sort of look is styling it from wet. Your hair has to be very wet. Comb the hair through, use a bit of your curling mousse, use a curl cream, twist the curls, form them into the shape that you want to see the end result. So if you want them all away from the face, you need to start twisting them all away from the face when it's wet. And you can
Got
either
you.
let them dry naturally or use a diffuser. Diffusing the curls is really nice. That gives it a nice salon finish, I'd say.
Okay, I mean, first of all, you've got to start off with hair that's, like that. It's like when I've come into the salon and I sit there on the seats, setting the scene perfectly, and I give what you generally is a picture of Craig. I'd like to look like this, please. And you look at me as if to say, not in a million years. But I'm
We
like,
can do
but
it.
change me.
We do.
But
That's
yeah,
what I always think that when people show you photos, they're
yeah,
showing you they're not showing you photos of the person. They're showing you photos. They're saying, "Look, this is what I want my hair to look like. Can you help me?" And
yes.
I never turn around to someone and say it's not achievable. We go for the best thing that we can do to your hair. You know.
Yeah, I think at the end of our conversations, I'm just like, just do what you can. Knowing what I want to look like and knowing that my hair isn't thick it's not luscious like that, and it's like, okay, well, we'll do a bit of a, we'll try. I don't mind that, we'll try. And what about this one as well? Because this is a very sleek hairstyle. How will we do this? Because whenever I get sleek in the salon, I can never replicate that at home.
Okay, so this is it's two things really. So this is one of my clients, a regular client of mine who comes in, and she's actually naturally got quite it's a frizzier sort of hair texture naturally. So
Oh,
the
okay.
first thing you need to be looking at is what shampoo and conditioner you're using.
Right.
So if you want to achieve like a nice shiny finish, once you've dried and straightened your hair, you need to be starting from the beginning using a really good shampoo and conditioner. So anything with to encourage shine, moisture, anything you see that's going to tame the hair, those sorts of
Okay.
things on the product you want to be looking for. Um, and then we just blow dried it in with a round brush to keep it nice and smooth.
Mm-hmm.
Finish with the straighteners, tucking the ends under ever so slightly, not too much.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then finishing with like a really nice shine mist or a nice serum, that always helps. But to get that sort of look that you can see on the screen, it does
Yeah.
start from, my main thing I'd say is it starts from the basin, or from the shower when you're washing your hair.
Okay. Okay, so that's quite interesting, because one thing I've only recently, I think, got into is trying to buy products that suit my hair type. Do we buy the product that suits the hair type, or do we buy the product that suits the type of hair we want to achieve? If you understand what I mean.
I do get what you mean. It's a tricky one. So if you were trying to achieve like a fuller, so for you personally, would you like fuller hair?
Yeah, I'd like fuller hair, more of it, like big thick curls as well, maybe a bit more of a red tinge, but I don't think I can quite achieve that.
So you want to be using like a volumizing product, so volumizing shampoo and conditioner,
Yeah.
volumizing mousse, root boosters, that sort of thing. Because I personally don't think your hair is thin or anything. It's just a bit finer, so it needs a bit of an extra
Okay.
push volume really. So yeah, you can definitely achieve a more voluminous look by using the right products.
Right. Okay. What about now? We're gonna get to a point where I'm going to be talking to you about sort of what myths can we like bust and like blow apart. But when it comes to products, should we be washing our hair every day? Do you need to wash out that product totally to then put it all back in again? I mean, can we overclog our hair with stuff? Even like we wash it, we put this on it, that on it, that on it, that on it. Are we clogging our hair, or is it okay for our hair?
I mean, hair it's a real myth actually that hair you should leave your hair 3 or 4 days and let the natural oils do its thing. We've all heard that time and time again.
We
I
have, yeah.
yeah, I want to say that that's not true. You need to be washing your hair not only for your hair but for your scalp. The scalp itself needs cleansing and it needs replenishing. So that's
Yeah.
why we wash our hair too, is to get all of that, the environment, all the stuff in the environment out of your hair, all the dust, not just product as well. So yeah, definitely that's a bit of a myth. Yeah.
Well, that would ring right. I mean, of course, because if you think about it, we wash our faces not just because we might wear makeup, but we wash our faces
Yeah.
to get any layers of stuff off of it that's built up during the day. And when you moisturize, there's no point moisturizing the dead skin. So you exfoliate, moisturize. So that's, I mean, I would imagine when it comes to hair, it's alive here, but it's not alive down here. But to clean up here, you're cleaning off, you're not stripping it of its natural oils. You're just cleaning it of the excess stuff you don't need anymore, which can, I would imagine, make it dull as well, make it a bit dry.
Your hair can hold a lot more dirt than your face does as well. So it's
Right.
definitely worth giving it a wash every few days
Yeah.
to keep it fresh.
Well, that's the thing. I mean, I've
Some
been
people
looking
say
at.
they never wash their hair. Eventually, it cleans itself, but that would be like a miracle. How would that happen?
Yeah, how does it do that then? Yeah,
Mine
that's
does.
it. I mean, on some of these websites, that have given us all lockdown tips and ideas, some people have, embraced the natural look. But I've never understood that want to never, or to not wash your hair, thinking it's going to be so much better for it, because I can't imagine not washing my body expecting it to be so much better for it.
Exactly.
Well, people have, you know, certain people with like a curlier hair texture, they're probably not going to wash their hair as often. If they've
Yes.
achieved like these gorgeous curls one day, they're going to leave it for 2-3 days. But generally, it goes on your hair type really, and you know yourself when your hair needs a wash, don't you?
Yes, you do. You can just feel it. And I suppose with
Yeah.
straighter, sleeker hair, you can see when it's getting a little bit greasier, a little bit lanker. You can feel it. But with
Yeah.
curly hair, I suppose when you've got like, yeah, it's looking all right today, and if you wake up and it's looking all right the next day, don't wash it, keep it, rather than stripping it of, you know, what you've put in it to make it look good. It's, yeah, you know your own hair type, don't you? I mean, how often do you wash your hair? Oh, well, Craig, every day, probably just in the shower. Carla, how often do you wash your hair?
Probably every other, because I have dark hair, it looks greasy quicker. It reflects
Yeah.
more light. It's quite healthy as well, and I just think it feels nice when you wash your hair. Love a hair wash day.
Yes,
I
yeah.
think maybe at the moment, if I'm at home and not really seeing anything, I might just put a bobble hat on the third day. I'm only hanging out with my dog, but yeah, generally I'll go like every other day, if not every day, if I fancied it. Washing your hair does not damage it at all if you use the right shampoo. It's what you do after that counts. So if I wash my hair every day, then I blow dried it and then I straightened it, then I'd probably have a problem there. But if we wash your hair every day, I let it dry naturally most of the time, and then I occasionally might curl it a bit, or just pop it in a ponytail. So it's the heat you're applying after that damages the hair, not washing your actual hair. So finer hair types, definitely wash them every day if you want to, because fine hair will feel lank quicker. So having that
mine does.
Feel,
Yeah,
there's nothing wrong with that.
I suppose with what we can be doing now if we're not going out and about is just keep the styling, maybe with the hot brushes and the blow drying and things. You know, keep washing it, keep doing what you normally do, but just don't be using the heat maybe so much. Would that be something?
One thing about being locked down, I would say, is a real opportunity for people who have suffered with damaged hair in the past from heat styling, particularly over highlighted hair, and then they heat style it a lot, is to just leave it. Why is you not seeing anyone? Put treatments on, leave them in, put it in a plait, put a hat on, whatever, and just have this opportunity to give it a break from all that heat styling. And in a month's time, when we're all allowed out and we're literally going to be celebrating, we all have beautiful conditioned hair, and everyone's going to have long hair as well. But
that's true. Yes.
So I've been like every week putting a conditioning mask in mine, and I just leave it in for a whole day, just walk around with it in.
Well, that's true. Wrap it up in cling film.
Film, bobble hat, whatever. Walk around with a towel on your head all day.
Yeah, the matter, does it? Yeah, it's just as well it's winter.
Exactly.
With the with hair, we talk about hair drying. Sorry, the hair dryer is actually. I always say this to clients. So if anyone's listening, they've heard me say it time and time again, but it's so true. The hair dryer is a lot worse for your hair than people think. So hair straightening and using curling tongs and that sort of thing, going over and over your hair with those sorts of heat styling tools, it is really bad for your hair. But the hair dryer, I think we underestimate how close people hold the actual hair dryer to their hair and the heat temperature it's on. Drying your hair a bit more methodically, slower on a lower heat, is actually going to dry it quicker than if you're, you know, racing the hair dryer around like a lunatic. So I just think that's another little tip for people. Just take it slower, a bit more steady, lower heat, and I promise you, your hair will dry quicker.
Yes. Okay.
And a good tip is have a good hair dryer. Because quite often people have quite a really old 20-year-old hair dryer with no nozzle. A nozzle is really important, but also they're really hot but not very powerful. So then they're just really heating the hair up a lot, but it's not blasting the hair much. So good hair dryers are like more powerful, so they kind of blast the hair more rather than just being really, really hot. And then you move the hair dryer around a lot. And you will get such a better blow dry with a decent hair dryer than using I mean, I think we've all got a hairdryer at home that we probably had since we were a teenager because they just keep going sometimes.
I did.
But
they
improve so much. You don't have to go out and buy a fancy £500 hairdryer, but literally, I'll show you my hairdryer. It's just quite a standard. There you go. Look.
Is that one of the ones from the salon? Because I bought one of the ones from the salon. Because I thought, well, if you can make my hair look like that, maybe I can. But the one I had before, I've had for 25 years.
The nozzle on yours?
I do. Yeah, I do. Because I think, does that smooth the cuticle down?
Yeah. Direct heat. And a lot of people tend to just throw the nozzle away because they don't really understand what it does.
Well, if you've got a nozzle when you're drying my hair, I must nozzle when I'm drying my hair. Otherwise, how can I achieve it?
Otherwise, the air's just going everywhere and not where you want it. But yeah, just keep the hairdryer off the actual hair. Don't touch your hair or your hairbrush with the hairdryer, and then you won't overheat it. But like Craig says, just put it on a lower heat if you're at home because it's much easier that way.
Well, yeah. I mean, you know, we all have perhaps a little more time to do it more methodically. What about so you've got curly hair. Do you only brush it when it's wet? I mean, my daughter has got the most beautiful curly hair and she only brushes it when it's like thick with conditioner, otherwise it's a nightmare. But what kind of brushes and tools do you use? Do you need all of these gizmos and gadgets, or can you just have the one trusty tool to help you?
I think in terms of brushing it, tangle teasers have become every curly haired girl's best friend, I think, because they're absolutely brilliant at getting through the knots and the tangles. So, but always start from the bottom up, and just like we were saying about hair drying, just do it methodically, do it slower, because when your hair's wet, it's a lot more fragile, especially curly hair. So I would always just make using a good tangle teaser to brush it through. And make sure you're using products that are going to add moisture to it. And when it's dry, when you've got these lovely curls that are all separated, lovely and shiny and spirally, don't brush it when it's dry.
No, because you go from this to that. Yes, crystal tips. Yes. What about now? Some people, I can imagine, have been taking the scissors to their hair, whether it's cutting. You mentioned the other day, well, they can cut here, but what about the back? And what about the short hair where there's a little bit of this going into the eyes, gradually moving down? What would you say do's and don'ts about cutting your own hair? I mean, kitchen scissors or nail scissors spring to mind. Tell us what we should and shouldn't be doing.
Okay, so firstly, what I would say is if you have a fringe and it's in need of a trim and you're going to give it a go, if you've got some decent scissors around that aren't nail clippers, nail scissors, kitchen scissors, if you're going to give it a go, do it when it's dry. Do it in the natural form that your hair's drying in. So don't straighten your fringe to give it a trim if you never wear it straight. Just cut it as it is when it's dry. Loose tension. None of this holding the hair down to snip it, because it's just going to bounce straight back up.
Got you.
And cut into the hair. So hold your fringe with the comb away from your head. Don't pull it down. That's the absolute no-no, because it will bounce up. And the other thing that I can't stand seeing all over YouTube is these twists cut fringe tutorials, because that always ends in tears. I think.
Oh God. Well, I suppose actually the advice you need to be giving is when people come back to you, you don't want to really be sorting them out, because you don't want them to have gone completely wrong in the first place.
And the other thing as well, this is a good tip. If you're going to cut your fringe, don't cut the bridge of your nose.
Right, okay. Dear oh dear. You know, there are some hair nightmares, aren't there? I'm sure, you know, I probably should have prepared a few more hair nightmare scenes for us to discuss. I've got one at the end that we can talk about that's actually quite funny. But but yeah,
well,
it's
that is where the return of the mullet came from last year, because a lot of people cut in the front of their hair. So it was men and women, not just the men doing it at home. And they'd come in, they'd be cutting the front, never cut the back. So they'd come in, they have mullets. But we love it. We absolutely love it. It's such a an achievement when you fix it for them. It looks great.
Yes, actually. Oh, I thought you meant you love it because you can just laugh at them.
Well,
But no, you
we have a
love
laugh
it because you
together,
can
not
fix
at
it.
them.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
they find
Okay.
it
Yeah,
funny.
that's true. Yeah, that's a better way of
So-
putting it.
If anyone at home's cut a mullet, don't worry, we'll fix it.
Yeah, you look all right from the front. That's fine. When you just walk past the mirror, it's like, yeah, I'm all right. I can go out like this.
So
Oh,
there could be haircut of the year now. So they're actually coming into fashion. But they're called the modern mullet. So they're a lot
Okay,
more
yes.
stylish now. Not sort of pat sharp, that kind of thing. It's more
Yeah, I know what you mean. Short on
bit
top
more
and long at the back.
blended, bit more stylish now. So I think it's a haircut that we'll be seeing a lot throughout the year.
I
In
think
its
so.
various new modern
Be your
formats.
next haircut, Kate.
You know what? I think I have not had a fringe, or no, I did try having a fringe, but you know, you go to the hair salon and you think, yeah, I know, I'm going to have a fringe. Yeah, I'm going to shake it up a bit. I'm going to have a fringe. You have a fringe. The moment you have a fringe, I'm going to grow my fringe out. That's me. And I remember, I think I was actually 12 or 13, and I remember being at school and being the first, I believe, the pioneer or the first child to grow their fringe out, because I've got a funny kind of like way that my hair goes up here, and the only way that it looks half decent is if I actually pull it as much as I can do and just tuck it behind my ears. So to have a fringe for me, it has to be quite long because it bounces up, but then it has this funny wonky curly kind of thing going on. So I don't go near the fringes. I don't go near fringe. So I can't have that. Short hair. My hair is naturally wavy. It used to be really, really curly, but now it's not. Since having, my children, they've stripped me of anything that was half decent. So I now have to properly do my hair if I want it to look okay, but I need it to be pretty much the same length, because cut anything off and it just thins it down even more. So I need to look as though I've got something on my head rather than just looking straight through my hair onto my scalp. It's
And that
difficult to
blunt
know what to
looks
do.
really nice. Well, the
Thank
blunt
you.
choice.
I have decided to flick it out. In fact, the inspiration came from watching The Voice on a Saturday night. I like Anne-Marie's hair, and she's got pink hair at the moment, so that's why I might go pink as well. But I'm not quite her age. I'm a bit older, about I could be a mother.
I want to see you with this pink on your hair next week.
Yes.
Well, I'm going to buy some. I'm going to go
Do
on the
it,
website
do
and
it.
buy some.
And do the whole family.
My
I'll love
daughter,
it.
actually, she
would love it.
well, I got. My daughter would like the blue. In fact, last year we did colour her hair blue. It didn't take particularly well, so I need to make sure I read the instructions properly. But she went blue. It didn't suit her skin colour at all, but she wanted blue. She wasn't going to school.
One thing I'd
and
say about blue, it is more tricky, especially on natural hair, because it's got natural golden tones in it. Think about when you add a blue and a gold together, it's going to be a bit of a greeny tone there.
Yes.
Whereas the pinks and like the coral and things like that, they take better and they're much more flattering. So if you can, convince her to stick to the more pinky corally tones rather than the blue.
To be honest, I mean, she's only 12. I don't know what was possessing me with letting her. I mean, she was 11 at the time, so I do feel a bit bad mummy for letting her do that. But like I say, she wasn't going to school.
Exactly.
So, and her idol is Billie Eilish, and actually Billie Eilish has got, she's got the proper, luminous greeny yellow, and then the jet black. So she wanted that. So I suppose just letting her go blue was okay. Yeah, anything other than the two-tone look, which on Billie Eilish looks absolutely great, but not on my daughter. Thanks very much.
Oh, that would be a hard one to grow out.
Yeah, I know. Especially if it's like, but I don't like it. Can you imagine the tears? Sorry, love, you're stuck with it. Right, let's have a little look. Okay, so just to go down the little funny route, what have you got to say about these? You can decide who goes first.
Okay, let's talk about that bleach at the top first.
Yeah.
That really blonde one that you can see is actually quite a good result.
Oh, okay.
The one that's a bit more goldy is probably more likely what you'd actually get. And the really blonde one looks like it probably all fall out and they'll be bald in about a week. So that's good tip of why not to bleach your hair at home.
So do you think the top left image that's a bit more orangey, do you think that's
Yeah.
the halfway between bleaching dark hair and then re-bleaching it or bleaching it again to then
That's
create the lighter version?
It looks like the first round of lightener. That's
Yeah.
kind of what you get. And then the second one, if that's the same woman, she's obviously reapplied it, but then the hair looks really over processed. And when it looks like that, it tends to just break off.
Yeah,
It goes
I'm
like
thinking,
chewing gum.
can you
It's
imagine?
really-
Yeah.
yeah. So then you kind of end up with bold patches, which is not nice. The best one on there is the guinea pig.
You know
Sure.
what? I think that guinea pig has got a certain beauty about it, but that's like a proper stylist must have done that, and that's great.
like a thatched roof.
It's just so funny. And what about the others? What about that bottom right hand one, Craig? What do you think about that one?
I mean, I can't even comment on the bottom right, that thing. I don't know what's caused that. So yeah, that's classic. Well, as it says, Corona cut. I think it really is. And I mean, the one on the bottom right, the grey one, I think most blokes have had that during a lockdown from their partners giving them a little haircut.
Yeah.
And then saying no, and then saying no, it looks fine, honey. It looks fine. Yeah, absolutely. You can go out looking like that. I think it's the tan line that's funny.
Yeah.
I think that was last summer's haircuts. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
And then you can imagine with the top bloke, you know, with the eyes popping out of his head. It's like, really? You've that's a chunk. I mean, that's just like, you may as well stick it in a ponytail and cut the whole lot off. Although they've got hairdressing scissors.
Might look quite good with short hair.
Yeah, I reckon. Yeah, actually, yeah, go short. Yeah, I think you're right.
Definitely.
I think we'll all be running out of guinea pig's hair now.
Well, you know, what have I got? I've got a sausage dog and a Dalmatian. They don't need a haircut. We've got rats. They're a bit spiky. I suppose we could shave those, but no, I think they would get nibbled. And we have a snake, which doesn't need a haircut at all.
You have a snake?
But yeah, we do have a snake. Yes, we have a slithery snake. It's my daughter. She just like, can we have one of these? Can we have one of these? And not that we say yes to everything, but I don't mind a snake. Generally, it stays in the same place. And yeah, it's trouble-free snake. But yes, anybody who's got the want to cut their own hair and has an animal in the house, maybe with longer hair, practice on your pet. If it doesn't look very good on your pet, it's not going to look very good on you.
Practice your fringe trims on your pets. That's a new tip out. Yes.
Yeah, actually, we want pictures. Listen, thank you so much. We've taken up loads of your time. It's been fabulous to see you. It's been great to chat. And if you've got any questions that you want to put to Carla and Craig, use social media. Of course, they're on Instagram. And they're on Facebook as well, so you can be in touch with them directly, or you can be in touch via me, kate@pinksaltshed.com. All right, so I hope it's been helpful for you. I hope you've enjoyed listening to what they've been saying, and maybe something has struck a chord with what you've been thinking throughout the last few weeks and months even. But guys, hopefully we'll hear from our Prime Minister at some point with how we're going to be unlocking the front doors to your hair salons. And I really, can you give me a heads up when you're going to do it? Because I want to be one of the first people to come in. I need something happening with mine. I'll probably want to completely reinvent myself. Don't worry, Craig, I won't want to do that. But yeah, I really hope that it's very soon. It's one of those things that I know it's a first world problem, going to the hair salon, but it means such a difference to us when we're walking out there and we're feeling half good, half decent about ourselves. But thank you.
Yeah, everyone, anyone's looking to get a hair appointment when we get the news, look on our Instagram. We will have the information on there about what we're doing about appointments and how to read them and how to get on the waiting list and all of that. But that will probably be after the announcement tomorrow. We'll update what we're doing and stuff like that. But we've got a waiting list, so that, if you know that you want one, you're not booked in, email and get on the waiting list, basically.
Okay.
It's going to get very long.
Then. I can imagine. Well, that's the thing. I mean, you've got 45-minute appointments Well, for that's a
No,
style,
we
isn't
have.
it? When it comes to, okay, so when it comes to your appointments, they're a lot longer, but loads of people are going to want them, but loads of people are going to need more time to get sorted out. So that's going to be a bit of a balance.
Well, with
Well,
the current restrictions as well in the salon, we're taking, when we do reopen, we'll be taking the same precautions to make sure everyone's safe.
Yeah.
But it'll be the same nice, warm environment people are used to. But we did last time allow a little bit of extra time to keep everyone's, if people had done any hair
separate.
design, yeah, just to give it a bit more time to clean and a bit more time to trim a bit more if we need to and that sort of thing. So,
Okay.
yeah.
You're doing that again.
Well, we know that you look after us. We can't wait to come back. It is one of those things that we really, really look forward to. And I look forward to seeing you in person. And hopefully I won't be one of I won't take scissors. I won't do anything. I'm just going to, go pink. That's what I'm going to do, is go pink.
Go
And then when you
pink,
see me,
yes.
I might,
Give it a go.
hopefully that will be soon. And hopefully you will see me with pink hair, which means that we are all walking through your front door again. But thank you so much. I hope you have a fabulous rest of your day. Have a great week. And we'll all be in touch, I'm sure now. You'll be inundated with calls and messages from us to want to come and see you. Have a great rest of your day.
You
And
too.
you.
Thank you. Thanks.
Bye.
Bye. Oh, fabulous. Oh, honestly, I could carry on chatting with them for ages, but I know now that, we're clocking on 45 minutes. If that hasn't been enough though, and you want to contact them directly, please do, or via me, kate@pinksaltshed.com, because we can pose any questions to them. And if there's something more specific, then ask them, because I'm sure they know exactly how to answer your queries. All right, but I won't take up any more of your time now either. Thanks very much for joining us. Don't forget, subscribe to Pink Salt Shed TV, and of course hit the notification bell so we can give you a 15-minute heads up of when we're going to be going live. All right, on Friday we've got Katrina. Katrina is coming along to talk about how her business has grown since March last year. Believe it or not, there are businesses that have grown. Her industry is in the food industry. She is local to me, and it's quite sort of, it's local to the area, but actually she's got some great things to tell us about her history and how she's got to where she is today. So that will be on Friday. All right, so I will give you the heads up on that. There'll be a little trailer on Wednesday coming out. But like I say, subscribe to the channel, please. It's Pink Salt Shed TV, and hit the alarm bell for notifications, and then you'll all know what we're doing when we're doing it. All right, so thank you so much for joining us. Absolutely loved it. What a great show. I hope you've enjoyed it too, and we'll see you soon. Thanks.